government has been trying to help the farming end of it, no? So
Yeah.
some areas they are able to help, pero how long and how sustainable is that help? No, because
Okay.
we have to look at the trends. For instance, I think they are starting to give some assistance to the rice farmers, no? But
Uh-huh.
we have to see how long they're going to remain rice farmers or the assistance of tens of billions in irrigation. And sinabi ni Duterte, dati may babayarin sila, ngayon libre na lahat. Pero how long are these people going to be farming? Because many of them are abandoning the farms because the average farmer's age is now 60 years old. And the children, none of them want to do farming. Very, very few of them want to do farming. They're going to university. We now, under the Duterte administration, we have universal free education, no?
Yeah.
They're studying. They see what they can do on the internet. They look and see so many opportunities. Very few people want to go back to farming. So is it practical for us to be pouring this amount of money? Or if we're pouring this amount of money, maybe it should be structured in a way na they can see the productivity rise more quickly, more immediately, no?
Uh-huh.
Than just giving them the access to water or giving them access to some credit is one of many factors lang. So maybe they feel that the chances of success are not that high, no? For most of them. There's some very successful farmers. We've seen that some rice farmers that are using hybrid rice and using it the right way have tripled or quadrupled their output.
Income.
So ito
Yeah.
but this is the minority kasi yung marami nakausap natin, hindi nila alam paano gamitin. So let's say they're supposed to water it at this time of the morning and they don't. They water it. The farmers are not waking up as early as before. They water at 10. And so there's not enough water, natutuyo rin yung o
Uh-huh.
minsan kung nagkaroon ng bagyo dahil sa itong hybrid rice is 4 to 5 times the amount of seeds per plant, nagiging mabigat. Kung nagkaroon ng bagyo, nababali at nahuhulog kaagad yung mga butil. So they have to know where it applies and where it doesn't apply. So we have to combine science and technology, and science of scale
Okay.
also. So may hope dito, pero baka to the average person, maybe if they learn technology, it's more useful for them,
Yeah.
no? In their mind, because instead of making 50,000 a hectare twice a year, and baka malugi sila and they have to pay the 5-6, they'd rather go and get employed at 30,000, 40,000 a year in technology every month.
Uh-huh.
Sigurado. So, yan ang iniisip ng mga bata. We cannot blame them. But what do we
Yeah.
do about our agriculture program? Kailangan mas integrated ang planning natin. We have to see if the
Yeah.
people want it. We might want it, but maybe the people don't want it.
I can imagine. That is the problem. But have you seen any probable winners in the field of business given the COVID-19 crisis? We heard that digital transactions have increased, food delivery increased, but yung mga katulad ng Grab, bumagsak ng konti na shift sa Grab delivery. Anong pwedeng kalakal ang pwedeng pasukan ng ating mga kababayan ngayon?
Kung sabihin natin dito kung ano ang nag-grow sa ibang country, pwedeng tayo rin ang mag-provide sa iba. So ngayon alam natin na yung entertainment, whether it is big corporation like Netflix or individual bloggers or YouTube entertainment providers, we see many of them grow from the tens of thousands into the millions of views. We can also be providing that, and that means even from the very provinces in the heart of the province. I was watching a video last night, someone from Bangladesh and Pakistan and in Africa who have no access to any opportunity, have spent their time studying at the provided universities through YouTube, and they are able to get employed elsewhere. Ang masasabi ko ay pag pinag-aralan yan at dinibdib ang pag-aaral, hindi kayo mawawalan ng trabaho. Pero alamin nyo ng maganda. For instance, our company, if you are going to spend the time to do social media marketing or content creation or copywriting well, we have needs for that. Then kami ang mag-hire sa inyo. Pero you have to do it well. You have to create a program, a calendar of programs. The need is very great because the market is very great. No, with these platforms ngayon, you never have to look at just your own country as the market. Right now, the others are looking at the Philippines as a market. We have to look at the world as a market. So ito ay almost endless possibilities, no? And ngayon lang dinidefine. The fact na hindi siya well-defined, hindi tayo dapat mag-complain. Ito ang dapat opportunity natin na tayo will be part of those defining that market. No? So this is one area. This is one area that we can really look at.
What about access to credit? Because we've heard that most of the banks, despite the law to support agriculture and food modernization, mas malaki yung pinapahiram sa mga negosyante kaysa mga agri-based endeavors.
This is very difficult in that maybe for many businesses, agri has become more safer than the normal business dahil sa alam natin yung agri basta ma-produce mo, although there's the risk of typhoons and ganyan, siguradang may bibili. Whereas yung mga negosyo, many of them have lost their market. No? If you are a store that needs people to visit your store in order to sell, you don't have digital, you don't have, you're not in a place where people normally will continue to go, you will have lost probably, most of them have lost 50 to 80% of their sales. There is no chance they will survive if they don't have PC. So yung mga bangko, maingat dito. Alam niya you lost 70% of your market but you're a big conglomerate. Alam nilang kaya mo nito. But even the big ones are suffering tremendously. Alam natin yung mga airlines, you know, maybe they lost 90% of their market. Ang overhead napakalaki. No? So it's not just the small, the big ones are suffering terribly. No? In fact, the biggest airline company here would not survive unless the owner keeps putting in more money. And from a business viewpoint, the advisors and the family are saying, don't put in more money, mawawala lang yan. It's just out of pride that they want to continue to let it survive. No? So we can't really blame people. But it's like the pandemic management. Pagka pinag-aralan nating mabuti, we can reduce the effects of the pandemic, and we need really competent people in this, not the people who are always delayed in their decision and in the execution. Maraming nagiging butas sa execution. We really need to have a talent bank, and our governments that we vote in should be using the best people that we have, or even people from abroad. Because many of the countries, they're not just using their nationals, they are hiring the best consultants from abroad.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Chinese companies during my recent visit to China. Meron silang mga Europeans na nasa staff. Haiger is a good example. I was at Huawei, and Huawei executives said, well, we already foresee that the screws will be tightened by Donald Trump, but we are prepared for that. Siguro yung forward-looking talent ng mga lakal would play an important role, as in the Philippines, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's very right. Not just sa mga lalakal, but also the scientists, researchers, and all the different the media people like yourself. You have such wide exposure. We should be getting together, but the problem, of course, is for some reason our political culture is not a very consultative culture. No, not like the ones in Singapore or the US or China. They will get the people together and there's a discussion. Maybe they don't give them the power to decide, pero they will get that input and seriously study it. Dito, hindi masyadong gine-get together at pinag-aralan eh. Many departments don't do that. we really need to put the best tawag dyan, brain trust together. Napakalaking effect, pinakamaliit na gastos para sa malaking effect.
Yeah. According to Siamyo, yung Southeast Asia Ministers of Education Organization, naiiwan din ng Pilipinas sapagkat sa Vietnam, ginamit na yung telcos, ginamit pa yung mga himpilan ng radyo sa blended learning. Siguro we have to do a lot of catching up. But anyway, I wouldn't tax you much with your time. Anong message mo sa ating mga manonood, sa ating mga kaibigan, sa atin po namang coffee chat ngayong araw na ito? What's your key message?
The Philippines ay isang very, very blessed country in terms of resources, in terms of people. Although maingay tayong makipag-away, hindi naman tayo nanggugulo na yung violence masyado, no? And all around the world, the people like us, no? Gamitin natin itong panahon na ito because we keep looking to our leaders. We keep looking to the other countries. We might be looking up to the US. The others are looking up to dati Spain, and some are looking to China. But everyone's looking to the government also to lead us. I think we should look to them lead us not 80%, but maybe 20%, and we should lead ourselves 80% because we have control of our time. We cannot keep relying on government and outside forces. Gamitin natin, iplano natin yung oras natin. Let's get together with people who are productive. We spend more time with them rather than just people who we have good time with. And we will see our lives, everybody's lives get better.
Okay, very well. You know, the challenge for Filipinos is to look for leaders and not to depend on dealers. Because after all, elections are forthcoming and we look forward to a much better condition, more responsible people, more consultative leaders. Thank you very much, Mr. George Siy, for your time. Siya po ang convener ng Integrated Development Studies Institute. It's a pleasure to have you with Coffee Chat. We look forward to more discussions. Thank you. Have a nice day and Happy New Year of the Ox. Thank you. All the best,
Thank you,
George.
Melo. Salamat
Thank
at
you.
Happy New Year din sa ating lahat.
God bless you more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye.